So hello, everyone. Welcome. Hi there. Good to see you all. We have some exciting announcement, exciting information to share with you all. And basically, a lot of things are happening in the market and in general. And we would like to share these with you and also to share our strategy, how we are adapting to what's happening in the market and how it basically will affect you. So without further ado, we can start. And if you have any questions, you can always send them in the chat. We'll try to answer them. Let's just focus on what it is that we are going to discuss today. So the first question, if anyone is kind of listening to what's happening in the market, seems like ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini can do everything for you. And we'll try to answer this question. And if so, why do you need other tools? Why not let these LLMs do things for you? Of course, you need some knowledge, but it's kind of a process and it's evolving all the time. And basically, these things are affecting everything, not just SEO, but any business. So we will try to figure out what's this impact of the LLMs. We're going to call them LLMs in this presentation, which is Claude, ChatGPT, etc. And can they do things for me? So that's the first question we'll ask ourselves. And secondly, what really is changing in AI visibility? These changes in how people search and how websites are being crawled and how it affects basically your ability to attract traffic to your website and in general. And also we're going to touch about the differences, the gaps between the creation of the content, the infrastructure, and how understandable your website is to these new technologies, these new AI LLMs per se. There is also a shift from using different tools. One was for SERP, the other one was for links. There is a fragmented environment of many, many different tools out there. And do you need these tools? How do they all operate together? And how do they all integrate together? All of these tools out there that you see on marketplaces and so on, do you need them? Do you need to buy 10 different tools to reach your objective? And are these tools really needed in light of this revolution? So because we can continue just doing the same as we did before, but we took the opinion and the decision to adapt ourselves to what's happening in the market. And this is what we're going to discuss today, how we're actually going to do it. So when you talk about the LLM revolution, there's actually two parts to it. And the first part is traffic. The way traffic is actually arriving to your website is changing. Before it was coming from traditional search engines, and now it's coming from AI, chatbots, people asking questions. And I think everyone is aware of this trend. It's called the search growth in AI chatbots. And you can see here various statistics, how it's growing. Google is still the dominant player, but as you can see here, it's shifting, it's changing, and it will continue to change. Also, there is a different adaptation of AI searches by different technologies. It's very dynamic, and tools are changing positions. If before ChatGPT was capable to do everything, now people claim that Claude can do more and Gemini can do. It's changing all the time. There is no one clear leader, and even if there is one, it doesn't mean it will continue to be the leader over time. So we need to be aware of this, and we need to adapt ourselves to how traffic is arriving in general and how we can optimize and boost that. So that's the first part of the AI revolution per se. The second part is, and this is becoming much more visible, is can these LLMs do things for me? What kind of things they can do and how reliable they can do this? And if they can do this for me, why shouldn't I just ask, do this and do that? And why do I need a SaaS at all? And this is a very important question. And I think everyone should ask itself whether this is true or not. Of course, not everyone is technical, but it's becoming less and less technical. And mainstream people, even people that are not technical, it can be a lawyer, it can be a coach, it can be anyone, can start implementing these type of tools more and more. Of course, there's a learning curve, but we're talking in general. Why shouldn't I just use these tools without anything else? Why do I need to buy a SaaS product? Why do I need to buy a product at all? Why do I need a subscription at all, etc.? So this is the second question we need to ask ourselves. And talking about all the SaaS, so of course, many of you are familiar with AppSumo. You have, if not tens, if not hundreds, you have tens of different tools out there. And these tools are offering mostly, in most cases, either analytics or some kind of focus on a certain product. And the question is, can they do it for me? Yes or no? Are they reliable enough to do it for me, to replace all the tools that I purchased 2 years ago? Are they still valid? And do I still need my SaaS? So the answer is yes and no. And we're going to discuss this and see how you can adapt your strategy and still move and take advantage of these wonderful things the LLMs are doing now. By the way, not just for SEO, for your business also. So basically what we're going to discuss today is the innovation that we're introducing, how it will affect you and how you can take advantage of that. So the first functionality that we're introducing into our system is a prompt execution layer. The second one is a checkup, core infrastructure hardening. And the last one is how do you build your topical authority or presence in this dynamic environment. These are the three things that were actually adapted, enhanced, and that we believe are the most relevant to keep your business and your exposure moving with what's happening in the market. Because if you don't do these things, thousands of other people will do it, and they will provide much more competition, and it will be much harder for you to keep up if you do not adapt. The first thing that we're going to discuss is, and this is kind of one of our breakthrough technologies. We've developed this for a long time, and it still is in its early stages of implementation. Basically, what we're doing, we are enabling connectivity between NytroSystem to the most and latest LLMs. Because some activities we do not think that it's justifiable to try to continue doing within the SaaS. It is much better using external tools which may change. One day it will be ChatGPT, the next day it will be Claude, and so on. And we need to allow you to connect to these technologies easily and at the same time control the output that you're trying to achieve. The second thing is, if you're doing that, why actually do you need the SaaS? So the answer to that is that there is a lot of very important data and control data that we can extract from the system. By the way, not just from our system, but predominantly from our system, which we structure, and then we pass it directly to the LLM in a way that we can control the output that is in a satisfactory format and satisfactory result. The last thing, which we will be implementing, we're in the process of implementing, is connecting the result from the LLM to an action. For example, you've requested to create an article. You can now request this article to be published on your WordPress. And eventually, it can be published on your social media, et cetera, et cetera. So there is an execution layer connecting the output to some actions that you want to do. And this architecture is going to be an open architecture, which you will be able to either use our default configurations or customize it for your own needs. And it's not limited just to SEO. It can be adapted to any business situations, whether you're a dentist, whether you have tours in the US somewhere, Harlem, for example. So you can adapt it to whatever it is that you're trying to. So these are the main parts of the prompt execution. The second thing that we have decided to put much more emphasis in is the infrastructure level. So before you ran your system, it can be any SaaS, but you didn't really know what was happening in the background. You had no control, and you didn't know what critical elements you're actually missing that can harm your usability. So we chose like the main ones, and we're going to all the time add more and more parts to it. And just as an example, we're seeing now tremendous effects, adverse effects or positive effects, for example, to how your robots.txt file is structured and operated. I can guarantee to you that 99% of people, I assume including yourself, do not really know how to configure your robots.txt file, how to prevent it from blocking or not blocking, what is the right way. When you have a very large website with a lot of products, e-commerce website, for example, there is a lot of junk data that is generated by the e-commerce application. Even WordPress creates a lot of junk and inefficiencies. And so how do you give the rules to that? How do you create it in a way that is not harming your business? Now that there are trends of security applications such as Cloudflare, they actually take over your robots.txt file and they manage it for you. We see it across everywhere. And it's their default setting is blocking AI chatbots. So how would you know that it suddenly happened to you without seeing some indication that there is a problem there? And there are many like that. The other one is sitemap. How is your sitemap structured? Is it structured correctly? Is it being read by Google or not? Again, these things are paramount that they're indicated to you. LLMs text AI sitemap. We don't really know yet how important it is or how critical it is, but we added it to the list. It's a file that can be generated by sitemap plugin. So we're monitoring that also. A lot of websites, their SSL certificate is not being renewed. We see it all the time, and you're not aware of it. And suddenly your website is down or not accessible, or you get a warning that when someone tried to access your website, they get like an alert. So basically, it's totally blocked. And so you need to know that something happened to your SSL. It might be just that you didn't renew it. It might be that your credit card failed when you tried to renew it automatically. It can be 1,000 reasons which you're not aware of. So that's just another example. The speed of loading of your website, how it affects your performance and your overall optimization. So this layer here is added to all users, to all accounts. It is particularly useful in cases where you develop your website using some low-code tools, such as Cursor, Lovable, and others, which have much less reliable infrastructure, and they can break all the time. So we're going to talk a little bit about that in unreliable environments, how this checkup layer helps you find issues in your infrastructure. Even if the website broke, it can still identify. And the last part is what we call premium, which is really a set of functionality which is designed, including the prompt, including the schema optimization, including all the data that we discussed, that helps you understand and optimize your overall authority for the website and specifically for specific topics. The premium is kind of includes all our product functionality from different segments, not just meta tag optimization, which most of you are using. So meta tag optimization is, of course, very important, but in light of what is happening in the market, there's a need to take and to give attention to many, many other parts that are dynamically changing in the market. So premium is like the overall framework in which you get the most power from using our new innovative solutions. And before we dive into the live demo, I'd just like to show you how it's layered on the interface. So we introduced here at the top right side a set of what we call widgets. These widgets are can be added dynamically. Basically, we develop this widget and we add it to the widget list. And you can invoke it from here. In this particular case, this little crown shows you the details of the premium. This is for help. This icon here is for the prompts. It can initiate it to this position. The topical authority is initiated from here. The overall scoring and the hardening is initiated from here, etc. So just so that you understand how to navigate this new menu. Let's dive to the demo. So this is our account here. You can see everything. Let me just refresh and show you how it's appearing here. These functions are enabled now in your account. Before we start, I'd like to say that it involves a lot of technologies, and we're kind of launching this, I would say, in a semi-production, semi-beta and we expect to have some issues. And we would really appreciate your feedback. If you see anything that is kind of not working 100%, or you want to suggest some improvements. By the way, everyone will gain access to these functionalities definitely for some time, because we want you to start using this and start getting to know the application. So you definitely will be able to see the full power of the system. So the first thing that I would say, and we're not going to focus on the optimization itself today, we're going to focus more on the overall changes that we're introducing now. Let's start with the hardening. So you get, when you log in, you see an enhanced dashboard. This is the enhanced dashboard that we were talking about here. It's available for every site that you actually select. So immediately, whenever the website is crawled, you can see indications of, like, we would say, the main core issues. So just as an example, this website we have here was built on a low-code platform such as Lovable. And we developed the system using the low-code tools, which basically means that you go in and you prompt and you say, I would like to build a website. So even in our case here, you can see that this website shows some issues. And the first thing that you would see is that this sitemap, despite the fact that we prompted it about 100 times to try to do this sitemap correctly inside this new website, it is still showing some issues because the sitemap was not submitted to Google. And we couldn't have known this issue unless we had this checkup running all the time. This is one example of how it's done. The other one is whether the certificate is live, the score of the optimization, whether the robots.txt is up and running, whether the website is indexed, etc. So this is like a small indicator as to each one of the websites when you log in. The second level of the checkup has totally been upgraded and it's available to everyone. It basically provides much more details on the optimization and the issues that have been identified. This is your overall score of the optimization, including the meta tag optimization. As you can see here, we added more parameters and we've upgraded this, a lot of functionality relating to the meta tags and other parameters, such as we're now looking at the H1s, the link anchor text, etc. So this is kind of enhanced, and soon we'll be able to also send it by email and download the PDF. So we're enhancing the reporting capability. Whenever the report runs, you will see the results here, and there's no need to rerun the reports again. In case you are wondering, there's no need to do it again. The next thing that we will talk about is the authority. So we introduced the authority element. We call it authority. It's building your topical authority. So whenever you list to the premium, you're immediately transferred to a higher level of analysis. We are pulling data from many, many different sources. And to be honest, this data aggregation is quite expensive, which is why we need to issue this as a subscription. It's not based on free information that we can pull. Information such as all your backlinks profiles. You can see them here. Internal links, backlinks, and we can see some very interesting things, a lot of junk links that are coming, why they're coming. Someone is trying to leverage our website or not for good reasons, these ones, for example, and spam rates of those backlinks, etc. We analyze which keywords are being tracked for this particular website or for a topic of this website. We give a full profile of performance for multiple sources, such as the different search engines that you use, impressions, the Google Search Console ranking data, and we provide you with an overall score for your performance. And we can do this also on a per topic basis. So, for example, for the term AI visibility, we can see how the website, how the amount of the aggregated number of content pages and keywords and backlinks, everything kind of is pulled together, as you can see here, to provide a picture of the performance of this website relating to a specific. And we take all this data that comes from here and we pull it all into this analysis. You don't need to go into the data. It's enough to go and see the overall results. But all you need to do in order to add a topic is just go here, add a topic, type, give it a name, type a keyword or two, and it will automatically identify all the relevant pages, keywords, links, and will construct the topical authority mapping for you. And then you can go in and see how, for example, if you're adding content, you can see how the content is being ranked and improve your topical authority for those terms. There's a lot of more functionality here that we're not going to cover now, but this is just an indication. We found this to be very, very powerful because it's important to understand your topical power. If you don't understand this, you can write content and add a lot of data, which might not be ranked. We had a call yesterday with the client that added blog posts, and these blog posts were simply not indexed, were not ranked, and you're not aware of this unless you have this capability. And the next item that we will show now is basically how do you create the magic with the LLM. So we have them linked to the keywords, to the pages, to the topical authority. And just as an example, we can go to one website, this one, and we say, let's invoke the prompt execution layer. Once we invoke the prompt execution layer, we get a list of prompts. Again, these are prompts that we are adding them as default prompts. We're all the time we'll be adding more and more prompts according to whichever topics we think is important. Or if you would like us to deal with a specific topic, then we can definitely add this for you. You can also take any one of these prompts and customize it to your own needs. Let me give you an example. We can analyze here with this prompt engine your target audience. And we have two types of LLMs that are connected to this. One is connected to Claude, one is connected to ChatGPT. And basically, once we do that, we can use this target audience in order to create content better, for example. So I chose it, and then it goes into this mode that it can be run. We can also make configurations to it, such as which LLM model is being invoked. And here is the magic: add placeholders. So in most cases, you would go to a ChatGPT and say, this is what I want to do. But the data that you provide the LLM is very, very limited. So even if you write a very good prompt, like the ones we have here, which are professionally written, it tells what the LLM needs to do. It's always better to do that. But the magic is done here at the bottom, where we added data that comes from our system. So basically, when we pass this to the prompt, we also give the website domain, we also get the sitemap, the business name. We can pull any type of information from the system, and we can add this here. All we need to do is just go to the placeholder injection, and we can choose the data. We also have data that is not coming from the system that you pre-configured. It's like your library of data that you want to keep and that you want to share with the LLM. So it's like your audience, your products information, whatever you want to add into this LLM is available for all of them. So once we did that, all we need to do is just press run, and it goes to your favorite LLM depending on those. We are creating for you, free of charge, access to some of the best LLMs configurations. So this is one of the ones that we created. By the way, you can use any one you want, but this is well configured. It's got logic at the back end that can help you. We are aggregating everything into one link because there are limitations of passing data. So we created a file that ChatGPT is able to read, and all we need to do is just press enter. Now the LLM, in this case ChatGPT, is able to take all the data and run and do a tremendous and very good job in completing the task. Without this information, without all these parameters, it will give you a response. But in our experience, it's much more inferior response that might have a lot of errors, and that you might need to prompt it 10 times. And even then, you're not sure the result will be good or not. So you increase by a very large chance, you increase your effectiveness and how this works. Now it will give the output. It's doing this analysis now. We don't really need to go into details. So it did this one. So that was kind of related to your content. So we can also do something else. We can choose a different prompt. For example, check my robots.txt. So we're going to check your robot.txt file. And basically, again, we are providing a prompt, which you can change and edit. So you can make changes and save it to your liking. We're also using Claude skills in this particular case. I don't know if people are familiar with the word skills. It's basically a set of instructions for specialized knowledge. So we can integrate these type of skills into the prompting process. And we're also extracting the relevant data from the system and to enable this to work better. So as for Claude, you would need to run the Claude client on your desktop to get this. Of course, you can stay with other tools, but once you prompt it, it will invoke the Claude client, and then we can run this here. So every tool has got its own little nuances, but we're giving you an architecture where you can work with any LLM in a way that is very easy and very effective. So in this particular case, we're asking Claude to investigate and analyze and can tell you whether it's constructed correctly, whether there are any issues with this file, and how you should amend this. So it's doing its analysis and magic, and we can also ask, give us the best configuration for this file. What used to be done by an expert SEO specialist can be done now in 5 minutes, much better and much more accurately than it could have been done by a specialist before. And the reliability level of this type of analysis, when the LLM has all the data and knows what to do, is by far greater and more recommended than doing it, just by other means. It takes a few minutes to search. We'll come back to it in a minute. So this is how it's done. And we can take another scenario and just show you that scenario. Let's say keyword research. We can do a keyword research for your website, just like that. We can also, in this particular case, it's quite interesting because we can also add the target audience that we did before, if you remember. So we'll go here to the placeholders. And if you remember, we had element 2 here, target audience. All we need to do is just this file that I was referring to before. So now we're sending a specialized prompt to this particular case, ChatGPT, not just do research for me, but also use this information as my target audience, which is very, very powerful. We're going to save it now, and we can run this now. Run this. Again, it's a specialized prompt that we're making available for you. It might take a few minutes, but I think you're getting the idea that this is a very powerful and a very flexible infrastructure to basically do anything you want to do. The next phase, which we are working on connecting, is going to the agent mode here. Of course, LLM has a different agent mode, and we can then execute the functions. For example, after you analyze my keywords, add them to the system, or create content for me, or add them to my CMS or wherever. So by going to the LLMs, we are opening everything to a much more capable environment rather than trying to rely on whether this functionality is currently implemented in our SaaS. Because the market is moving so quickly, if you have now an application that is, for example, doing SMM posts for you, in a very short time, it will be obsolete because the LLMs are moving so quickly to make these publications. So the SaaS will never be able to keep up. And this is why we took the decision to each time take the data from the system You can write it. You can go and write articles and blog posts, or you can create SMM posts. The architecture is open and it's flexible to do all of these things, and eventually it will actually make the changes automatically. We're talking about the robots analysis from before. So this is using Claude. So it basically defined and restructured the robots.txt file for me. And all I need to do now is copy this into the system, into the robots file. All the functionality that you're familiar with, those of you who used our system to write content can still write content, and we can do it in a much more enhanced way. So for example, I would like to create content for these ones. You will see the prompt agent coming up, and it will allow you, of course, to do many things. One of them is, of course, to write content and content plan. So you can write one article, or you can write a plan that will write 30 articles or more. That's a long form article, for example. So all I need to do, and then I can go and configure this prompt. So basically, I'm telling the system here, take my target audience. I'm on this website. Take this information from my website, etc., and my target audience, element 2 target audience file, save, and run the prompt. So now it does it much more easily and better than it used to do it before. And if you go back to the system, you can also go to content plan, write for me a content plan. By the way, we're still working on a lot of these prompts. For example, you have topical authority plan. And again, you can take all the data and you can run it into the system, including my, for example, I can put my website, or I can put my target audience. And this is fully customizable. You can add these data elements without limitation. It can be my keywords. It can be my brand information. All of these things are fully customizable. And then we can run this to get a result. Yeah, so this is the article that we were doing before. It's writing it now. This is the keyword analysis. Let me show you. Now that you want to manage the prompts, you press the fully expand. This is where you manage all the prompts by expanding it fully. You can go through the prompts information, you can add all the placeholders, and you create your own favorite prompts, and then you just mark the ones that you want as favorite for easy access. This is how you do that. I think this is the kind of high-level overview of where we're at with this product launch. And what I would like to say is that all of you will gain access to this functionality. And, we want you to use it. We want you to try it. Regardless of cost and subscriptions, this is important for us to get your feedback. A lot of you had lifetime deals from AppSumo. So let me say the following thing. First of all the functionality that we have in our normal products meta tag optimization is constantly being optimized and increased. For example, the hardening of the optimization, this is something that we continue to upgrade and make available to you all the time. And the additional functionality, some of it we will share with you as part of the lifetime deals you had before. And some of this, it's not possible for us because we need to move with the market. We need to finance our growth with these new innovations. So we need you to understand that this is eventually benefiting you also, even if not everything will be included within the lifetime. I think we kind of did a high-level view of what has been done. And if you have any questions, we'll be happy to address those. Will connection be soon? We can connect our own agents. The answer is yes. You will be able to connect your own agents. And the idea is very simple. Let me explain how it should work. So we provide you with the ability to invoke any LLM. There are some limitations in the LLM side that you need to be aware of. Some LLMs allow you to pass data in the URL, some not. For example, Claude, the one that I showed you a minute ago, it does not allow to pass data in a web URL, but does allow to pass data inside directly to the client. So this is something that depends on the LLM. And once you are in your LLM, you can connect any agent for that LLM that you want, not a problem. For example, you can pass data to the LLM of the topics of the topical authority plan and ask it to create your documents with your agents. Yes, and this is the direction we're going in. So the answer is yes. Is it difficult to implement the robots.txt file? And the answer is amazing, because you remember we discussed the LLM revolution. And one of those advancements is that LLMs can now execute things for you at different levels. I can ask Claude, for example. I just installed a plugin for Claude. So basically this plugin now will read and go into, you see it's got this orange frame here. It's actually going into Nitro Systems now and looks at the data. And it's telling you what it's going to do. Of course, for security reasons, it's requesting permissions, but now it will go in. And this functionality here, you can also ask it to change your robots.txt file. So you open your CMS and it can basically update the file that we showed before. As you may remember, it goes in, it makes an investigation, and it does this, by the way, by taking screenshots. It's just the technique. And also Claude client can do the same. So you can ask it, go in and do this searching for me, let me know the result is. And these tools are becoming more and more available, and they're becoming an extension of your work. So you've done a ChatGPT in which you had the result of a robots file, and then you open your CMS next to it and you say, update my robots file inside my CMS, and it will do it. It will do it better than an SEO expert would do. Much easier. It can locate them. It can also go and install a plugin of a robots file if you don't have to. Basically, it can do all of those things. And here it gave me some indication. It's actually got the ability to make actions inside. So this answers the question that someone asked about whether it's difficult to do it. So I would say it's becoming much more easier if you know how to use these tools. And we will be hosting regular webinars to show you how to do these things, take you from where you are now to where this revolution is going, using these techniques, using these tools, and there's a lot of them out there. We can also help you with the setups, whatever you need to make the most out of the functionality. Are you doing anything with JSON LD? Yes, of course we are doing. These prompts, some of their execution is a JSON files. So you can ask it to generate a JSON file for you, of course. Anything you need. It can be FAQ for a page. It can be, give me the URL of the page and optimize that page with new information. So you see here, there are different categories of execution, and one of them could also be a JSON file to answer that. Yes, the premium costs about $67, and we think it's tremendous value for what you're getting. And let me just say again, a lot of the cost relates to the acquisition of the data. It's just something that we have to charge for in order to give you all this data as part of the information that we have in our system, and this is why it's priced this way. But at the same time, we will be, for our loyal customers and the ones that have been with us for a long time and the LTDs, we will be offering a lot of promotions, and we will be sharing those with you soon. So let me just explain what the MCP server means. For example, you can have a prompt here that says, go and analyze a page's metadata, or in fact, go and analyze all my page's metadata. Here are all my keywords, or the keywords of the page. Create for me optimized meta tags, schema, everything that you want in the page. Then the MCP server, which basically means that we can take that data back from the LLM and we can add it to your website using our system, our snippet. So we can also take the data back and implement this, and we can load those meta tags into your account itself. By the way, you can also instruct the LLM to go and open your CMS and hard embed those meta tags inside your CMS, not using the snippet. Everything is possible. So it's like giving you an infrastructure to do all of these things. Now, I understand some people are more technical, some people are less technical. The meta tag optimization layer of Nytro works all the time. You don't have to do it. But if you want to enhance, or if you want to do more, then this is the infrastructure to do. Regarding Agent Zero AI, I don't know the answer to that yet. We will need to investigate this. So please be in contact with our support. We'll follow up on it. In the coming weeks, we will hold regular webinars. We will add more and more tutorials, we will have prompts here that will basically take you through steps of what do I need to do first, what do I need to do second. So definitely we will help you with that, also with the setups. Thank you. I have some very nice comments here, appreciating the new upgrades. Yes, I can tell you something kind of personal. You know, at the end of the day, a lot of markets are being shaken. It can be normal businesses, doctors, lawyers, coaches. A lot of industries are being shaken or changed or rapidly enhanced, or these LLMs can affect. And similarly, we need to adapt. We cannot stay with the old thinking that this is how, you know, we did this for 10 years or 5 years. We cannot continue in the same way, and our system will continue to shift and continue to improve itself and connect to where we believe strategically you will benefit, and we will be able to deliver a very effective system that adapts itself to what's happening in the market. And if I can summarize this webinar by two things: LLMs require context. They require data that is relevant to what you're asking. For example, give them all the page information, indexing information, which pages are indexed, which pages are not. Give it all 1,000 pages in one bulk with all the information, with a good prompt. It will tell you where your issues are. If you don't give all that information in the right context, it will hallucinate. It will give you results that might look very nice, but they're not very accurate. And so this combination of being able to give the information to the LLM in a very easy and approachable way, that I won't say guarantee, but I would say significantly improves the results and the applicability and the usability to a state that is much better than what probably a human would do today and in the future. So I think, I hope that this was useful. What I would like to ask from everyone is to understand that we are evolving with this product, and that there are stages of maturity and growth, and we ask you to be patient and to provide us with your feedback. And if you have a need for a specific solution that is not covered in our prompts, just let us know, write to our support. We have here the support part. You can just submit a ticket with some information or a request. You can visit our knowledge base, and we are upgrading. We're adding a lot of information there. Or if needed, you can book a call for us. In general, we are planning to support you through this entire process of this change that is happening in the market and to your business. And lastly, since we are heavily into LLM developments, we are also able to help you with other things that you may need that are related generally to your business. We're also able to automate things. And if you do have a need, we have a team of developers. We have another unit that develops solutions for different segments. And we'll also be happy to help you if you see a need. Any last questions do we have on the list? Have I missed anything or anyone? I think not. So thank you very much, everyone. It's always wonderful to see you all. And we will be communicating a lot of new information and updates shortly. And we appreciate you very much. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you.